When gazing at the night sky, have you ever felt a shiver down your spine, imagining that perhaps, among the clouds, an ancient creature could be lurking? The Creeper from the Jeepers Creepers franchise evokes this kind of primal terror. It's not just any monster, it's an enigmatic entity that transcends conventional classifications. Demon? Fallen angel? Extraterrestrial? The truth may be even more disturbing than we imagine. Today, we'll unravel the complex anatomy of this creature that has haunted our collective nightmares for decades. Prepare yourself for a disturbing journey through the darkest and most fascinating aspects of the Creeper. And before we begin, if this kind of content piques your dark curiosity, consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss our upcoming analyses of the horror universe. Obscure origins. Where does the Creeper come from? The mythology surrounding the Creeper is as old as it is enigmatic. Different theories attempt to explain its existence, each adding another layer of terror to its nature. The most accepted theory posits it as a fallen angel, one of Lucifer's followers who, during the Celestial War, didn't fall into hell like its companions, but rather to Earth. This divine error would explain its hatred for humanity and its pleasure in desecrating sacred symbols. It's no coincidence that it uses an abandoned church as its lair, and that the victim's dairy found in the basement were arranged in positions reminiscent of crucifixion and intentional blasphemy against God's favorite creation. The official Jeepers Creepers comics, written by Mark Andreyko, significantly expanded its backstory. In these stories, we discover that the Creeper has existed since at least the Middle Ages. But even more disturbing, it wasn't just feared by ancient cultures in some, it was venerated as a deity. There are references to human sacrifice rituals performed in its honor by pre-Columbian civilizations, where priests removed specific organs to appease its eternal hunger. The connection to Native Americans is particularly intriguing. Some tribes had legends about a winged creature that feeds on flesh and spirit, and cave paintings depict figures resembling the Creeper. Even more unsettling is its supposed link to the disappearance of the Roanoke colonists, a real historical event where 115 colonists mysteriously vanished in 1590. According to the expanded mythology, it wasn't disease or a Native American attack that wiped out the colonid, it was the Creeper collecting organs during its feeding cycle. Biological classification. What exactly is the Creeper? Taxonomically, the Creeper defies classification. Several theories attempt to categorize it. Demonic theory, the most accepted, considering its supernatural powers, immortality, and 23-year cycle. Its yellow eyes, bat-like wings, and regenerative ability point to infernal origins. Living gargoyle theory. Some theorists suggest it could be a gargoyle that came to life, explaining its stone-like appearance while hibernating and its affinity for old churches. This theory is reinforced by medieval iconography, where gargoyles were depicted as demons trapped in stone. Evolved Wendigo theory. The Wendigo of Native American legends is a cannibalistic creature that transforms after consuming human flesh. The Creeper could be an evolution of this entity, having developed unique characteristics after millennia of consuming specific human organs. Extraterrestrial theory. Its unusual biology and flight capability suggest a non-terrestrial origin. Perhaps it's a predator from another planet that found Earth to be an ideal hunting ground. The truth is, the Creeper seems to embody elements of all these categories, making it a unique supernatural chimera in the horror universe. External anatomy. The shape of nightmares. Externally, the Creeper has a humanoid appearance, but with distortions that reveal its non-human nature. Skin. It's not really skin as we know it. It has a scaly texture, resistant to punctures, with a grayish-green coloration resembling tanned leather. Upon analysis, it appears to be a composite tissue, blending properties of reptilian keratin and dense muscle fibers. Wings. Perhaps its most distinctive feature, the Creeper's wings are membranous like a bat's, but with a wingspan disproportionate to its body, about 13 to 16 feet when fully extended. The internal bone structure of the wings contains hollow cavities that reduce their weight, similar to the evolutionary adaptations found in predatory birds. The membranes between the bone structures are extremely resilient, capable of withstanding strong winds during flight, and flexible enough to fold against the body when not in use. Claws. Its claws aren't just extensions of its fingers like in common predators. They are retractable structures composed of a material similar to the chitin found in insect exoskeletons, but significantly harder, capable of piercing metal and concrete. Fictional analyses of samples from these claws have revealed a crystalline material in the composition, non-existent in any known terrestrial species. Teeth. The Creeper possesses 3 rows of teeth arranged similarly to a shark's with the ability for continuous replacement. The dental morphology is heterogeneous, with sharp incisors in the front for tearing and flat molars in the back for crushing bones and cartilage. Coat. More than an accessory, the creeper's coat seems to be an extension of its own body, possibly an additional sensory organ. Detailed observations show that it reacts to external stimuli even when the creeper appears unconscious. Theories suggest that the coat could contain receptors that amplify its ability to detect fear and locate prey. Internal anatomy. The hidden horror. The most fascinating and disturbing thing about the creeper is its internal physiology, which defies all known laws of biology. Adaptable respiratory system. The creeper has a dual respiratory system that allows it to function in both terrestrial environments and during high-altitude flight. Its third nostril, located on the bridge of its nose, isn't just a specialized olfactory organ, it's the entrance to a second respiratory system that processes air differently, extracting chemical compounds associated with human fear. Selective digestive system. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect of its biology. The creeper doesn't consume its victims for conventional nutrition, but for the selective absorption of specific tissues. Its digestive tract contains specialized compartments that process different human organs. Fictional forensic studies of the victims show consistent patterns. The creeper always removes the organs with surgical precision, leaving clean incisions that suggest deep anatomical knowledge. Regeneration system. Most impressive is its accelerated cell regeneration mechanism. When it consumes a human organ, the creeper doesn't just digest it, it incorporates the DNA and cellular properties of that organ into its own body. This would explain why it chooses specific victims. It's selecting desirable genetic traits to incorporate into its own structure. Multi-lobed brain. Circumstantial evidence suggests that the creeper has a brain divided into multiple lobes, each controlling different aspects of its physiology. This would explain how it can continue functioning even after severe damage to the head. Its main brain seems to reside in the thoracic region, protected by a bony case similar to the human sternum, but significantly denser. Circulatory system. Its blood isn't red, but dark green, with accelerated clotting properties that seal wounds almost instantly. Speculative analyses suggest that its blood contains some kind of organic nanostructure that facilitates cellular regeneration and preserves its functions during long periods of hibernation. Sensory capabilities. The perfect hunter. The creeper is an apex predator with hyper-developed senses that surpass any known terrestrial predator. Tridirectional olfaction. Its third nostril isn't just an additional respiratory organ, but a specialized chemical sensor that can detect compounds released by the human body during states of extreme fear. This smell of fear acts as a marker that allows the creeper to identify which organs and potential victims are most compatible with its regeneration needs. Studies of the creeper's hunting patterns reveal that it rarely attacks victims randomly. It smells its prey from a distance, categorizing them by usefulness. In Jeepers Creepers 2, we clearly see how it methodically examines the students on the bus, ignoring some and selecting others' behavior that suggests the ability for biochemical analysis from a distance. Multispectral vision. Its yellow eyes aren't just terrifying, they are advanced sensory organs. The creeper apparently sees in the infrared spectrum, allowing it to locate prey by body heat, and possibly in the ultraviolet, facilitating night hunting. Even more disturbing, there's evidence that it can literally see fear, visually detecting changes in the human energy aura during states of extreme terror. Selective hearing. Its hearing seems specifically focused on sounds associated with human fear: rapid heartbeat, gasping breaths, desperate whispers. This specialization explains how it can locate hidden victims with infallible precision. Psychic perception. Beyond its physical senses, the creeper demonstrates perceptive abilities that border on psychic. It seems to know the names of its victims without prior interaction, as in Derry's case, detects when it's being observed from a distance, and demonstrates knowledge of events outside its immediate sensory field. Life cycle. The 23 days of terror. The most mysterious aspect of the creeper is its 23-day life cycle every 23 years. This specific periodicity raises fascinating questions about its biology and origin. Natural cryogenic hibernation. During the 23 years of dormancy, the creeper enters a state of deep hibernation that resembles cryogenics. Its metabolism slows to undetectable levels, and its external appearance takes on petrified characteristics, the confusion with the gargoyle. Fictional analyses of creeper tissue fragments during hibernation show cells in a state of near-perfect suspension, with minimal degradation over decades. Accelerated active phase. The 23 days of activity represent an extraordinary metabolic explosion. During this period, the creeper operates at maximum efficiency, hunting practically without rest. Estimates based on its hunting patterns suggest it needs to consume organs from at least 12 to 15 volts ictams during this cycle to sustain another 23 years of hibernation. Astronomical synchronization. There are theories connecting the 23-year cycle to the specific alignment of celestial bodies. This periodicity could be related to ancient rituals or cosmic influences that affect its metabolism. The mathematical precision of this cycle suggests a connection to some regular astronomical phenomenon, perhaps explaining why ancient cultures considered it a deity linked to celestial cycles. Cycle closing ritual. In the final hours of its active period, the creeper demonstrates ritualized behaviors. It arranges the remains of its victims in specific patterns, preserves certain organs under controlled conditions, and meticulously prepares its hibernation site. This behavior suggests a calculating intelligence and possibly a connection to ancient ritualistic practices. Biological arsenal. Organic weapons. One of the creeper's most horrifying characteristics is its ability to transform parts of its own body into lethal weapons, bone shurikens. The creeper can extract fragments of its own skeleton, typically from the ribs or vertebrae, and shape them into razor-sharp throwing weapons. These structures maintain a psychic connection with it, allowing limited control over their trajectory after launch. Adhesive fluid. Specialized glands in its mouth produce a viscous substance that hardens rapidly upon contact with air. This mucus functions as extremely resistant organic glue, used to immobilize victims or create traps. The chemical composition of this fluid resembles advanced polymeric resins, but with adaptive properties that no synthetic material possesses. Venomous darts. From the tip of its tongue, the creeper can shoot small organic darts soaked in paralyzing neurotoxins. These darts are miniaturized bone structures connected to venom glands at the base of the tongue. The venom isn't immediately lethal, it paralyzes the victim while keeping them conscious, allowing the creeper to savor the fear before the final kill. Offensive regeneration. Perhaps its most terrifying weapon is the ability to use parts of its victim's body not just for regeneration, but as offensive extensions of its own body. In documented cases, the creeper has incorporated victim organs into its structure and adapted them for combat functions such as eyes with enhanced vision or muscles with superior density. Intelligence and psychology. The mind behind the monster. The creeper isn't an instinctive predator, it demonstrates advanced strategic intelligence and a complex psychology. Hidden linguistic ability. Although it rarely speaks in the films, the creeper understands human language perfectly and can communicate when necessary. The deleted scene mentioned in the original script reveals not only its ability to speak, but a macabre sense of humor and a sadistic personality. Its preference for silence seems to be a tactical choice, not a limitation. Strategic planning. The way the creeper hunts demonstrates high-level planning. It studies its prey's movement patterns, establishes hunting territories, creates complex ambushes, and even uses reverse psychology to manipulate victims. The truck isn't just a means of transportation, but a psychological tool designed to induce panic, maximizing the taste of fear that it so enjoys. Cellular memory. A fascinating theory suggests that the creeper absorbs not only the physical organs of its victims, but fragments of their memories and personalities. This would explain how it demonstrates specific knowledge about its victims and why it seems to play with them in personalized ways, exploiting individual fears. Ritualistic behavior. The creeper follows ritualized behavioral patterns that suggest a connection to ancient religious practices. The arrangement of victims in specific positions, the preservation of certain organs in precise geometric patterns, and the preference for abandoned structures with religious significance indicate an almost perverted priestly mentality. The truck. Biomechanical extension. The creeper's infamous truck deserves detailed analysis, as it's not just a vehicle, it's a biomechanical extension of its own being. Vehicular symbiosis. The truck seems to have a symbiotic connection with the creeper. The way it responds to its mental commands suggests some kind of neural interface. Analyses of specific frames from the films show subtle organic filaments connecting the steering wheel to the creeper's arms, implying a literal fusion between creature and machine. Organic modifications. The modifications to the truck aren't purely mechanical. Detailed examinations reveal that certain parts of the vehicle appear to be organic mechanical hybrids. The spikes on the tailgate have a structure similar to the creeper's claws, and the interior lining has a texture similar to its scaly skin. Autonomous defensive system. The truck demonstrates almost conscious defensive capabilities even in the creeper's absence. The wheels are immune to gunshots and explosives due to a regenerative layer that resembles the creature's own healing tissue. The engine emits sounds that resemble not mechanics, but deep, guttural breathing. Mobile laboratory. The interior of the truck functions as a macabre laboratory, where the creeper conducts its consumption and regeneration experiments. Equipped with makeshift surgical tools and preservation compartments, the vehicle allows it to process its victims with clinical efficiency while staying on the move. Technological evolution. Details of the truck change subtly between films, suggesting that the creeper continuously modifies it. These changes seem to reflect learning and adaptation, implying that it incorporates technologies from different eras into the vehicle during its 23-year cycles. Vulnerabilities. What could defeat the creeper? Despite its apparent invulnerability, the creeper has weaknesses that could, theoretically, lead to its permanent defeat. Dependence on specific organs. The creeper seems to depend on certain human organs to maintain its immortality. If deprived of access to these organs during its feeding cycle, its regenerative capacity would progressively diminish. This suggests that complete isolation during its active period could critically weaken it. Vulnerability during transition. In the final hours of its active cycle, when preparing for hibernation, the creeper goes through a phase of metabolic vulnerability. Its body begins the process of physiological deceleration, making it momentarily less agile and more susceptible to permanent damage. Hidden vital core. Circumstantial evidence suggests that the creeper has a vital core located not in the head or thorax, but somewhere in its axial structure, possibly near the base of the spine. This primordial organ would be the source of its immortality and the only truly irreplaceable component of its body. Astronomical dependence. If its cycle is indeed linked to specific celestial alignments, interfering with its ability to perceive these alignments could disrupt its metabolic cycle. Isolation in deep underground environments could, theoretically, interrupt this synchronization. Temporal trap. A more speculative theory suggests that the creeper exists outside the normal flow of time. Its 23-year cycle could be a manifestation of periodic time displacement. If true, theoretical time manipulation technologies could trap it in a loop from which it couldn't escape. Evolution through the films. Throughout the franchise, the creeper demonstrates continuous evolution not just in appearance, but in capabilities. First film, 2001. The original creeper had a more humanoid appearance and more limited abilities. Its regeneration was slower and depended on immediate consumption. Its flight capability was less refined, and its behavior more instinctive than calculated. Second film, 2003. We see a more agile creeper with accelerated regeneration and greater resistance to damage. Its wings demonstrate greater wingspan and control during flight. Its behavior reveals superior tactical intelligence with the ability to prioritize threats and adapt strategies in real time. Third film, 2017. This version displays enhanced integration of features absorbed from previous victims. Its body exhibits visible heterogeneity, parts that clearly belong to different victims but function harmoniously. Its ability to recover from extreme damage has increased exponentially. Reborn, 2022. Although controversial among fans, this film shows a creeper with an expanded ability to biochemically manipulate its victims from a distance. It demonstrates the power to induce hallucinations and manipulate sensory perceptions, suggesting an evolution of its psychic abilities. This progression implies that, with each 23-year cycle, the creeper not only recovers but evolves permanently, incorporating the best genetic characteristics of its victims in a continuous metamorphosis that makes it progressively more dangerous. Mythological connections. The eternal archetype. The creeper resonates deeply with mythological archetypes found in various cultures. Parallels with the Ethiopian vulture. In ancient African mythology, there is the legend of the Ethiopian vultura creature that fed on specific organs of its victims to absorb their souls. Like the creeper, this mythological being had cycles of activity linked to stellar alignment. Echoes of the Asian Krasu. In Southeast Asian mythology, the Krasu is a nocturnal demon that separates from its body, flying as a head with dangling viscera to feed. The creeper's ability to remove and replace its own head evokes this entity. Corruption of the Watcher Angel. In Judeo-Christian apocryphal tradition, the Watchers were angels assigned to observe humanity, but who eventually became corrupted. The creeper's observant behavior, studying its victims before attacking, reflects this concept. Inversion of Prometheus. In Greek mythology, Prometheus had his liver devoured daily by an eagle as punishment. The creeper inverts this myth. It is the one who devours organs repeatedly, punishing humanity in an endless cycle. These mythological connections suggest that the creeper may represent an archetype of a supernatural predator deeply rooted in the human collective unconscious, explaining why it resonates so powerfully as a figure of horror. Conclusion: the transcendent terror. What makes the creeper such a striking figure in the pantheon of modern horror isn't just its grotesque appearance or its supernatural power sits, the combination of elements that defies simple categorization. It embodies aspects of demon, biological predator, extraterrestrial entity, and relentless natural force. The true source of terror that the creeper evokes comes from its fundamentally paradoxical nature. It is simultaneously primitive and advanced, instinctive and calculating, bestial and intelligent. It represents the perfect predator, adaptable, patient, and absolutely relentless in its pursuit. Perhaps the most disturbing aspect of the creeper is the suggestion that it is not unique, that there may be others like it, hibernating in forgotten corners of the world, waiting for their moment to awaken. If a single creeper can cause so much terror, what would the existence of an entire species mean? In the end, the creeper remains a fascinating enigma, a reminder that no matter how much our understanding of the world evolves, there will always be room for the unexplained, the supernatural, and the genuinely terrifying in the shadows of our imagination. And you? What do you think would happen if you encountered this creature on a deserted road? Share your theories about the creeper in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth analyses of creatures from the horror universe.